This week on the RV podcast.
What is going on with that rash of recent violent RV thefts? There's been 2 more dangerous incidents since last week's deadly attack in Nebraska.
And if you have a drone made by DJI, as many RVers do, the government wants to ban them because they think the Chinese could be using them to spy on us.
What to do when you empty your black tank on your RV, but the sensor shows it's still full.
All this, plus the RV news of the week and your questions coming up on episode 504 of the RV podcast.
Hello, everyone. I'm Mike Wendland, and this is my lifelong traveling companion and my bride, Jennifer. Wow, life's a little busy, huh?
Really busy. I keep thinking it's going to slow down. I should know better than that.
No, it doesn't slow down. The first big thing is looming on the horizon for us. We have been busy reviewing RVs. We just finished our series on small Class A RVs on our YouTube channel, and then this weekend we start one on Class Cs. But looming right on our horizon is our big fantasy RV tour of the Canadian Maritimes. And that is, we're set to leave to meet everybody in Maine and then head up into the Maritimes really next week, the week after next. And we are shrouded by uncertainty.
That we are.
Let's see. Where do we start? I promised everybody to say what I did, too. First of all, our truck is out of commission, and it is in serious need of major repairs, major costly repairs.
I thought you were going to say major need of prayer.
Yes, that, too. I don't know if you can pray for that truck, but you can pray for us that we can handle it right. But the truck, okay, it's all my fault. Back in January, when we went to the Tampa RV show, it was a miserable trip down. We escaped a blizzard, and then the next day, as we were driving through Tennessee and into Georgia, pouring rain, cold rain, heavy winds. There's no excuse, though. I stopped at a gas station, or a fuel stop. I stopped at a Love's. Pulled the RV into the truck center there because, one, that's the easiest way to fill it up. And secondly, at the truck pumps, at the truck diesel pumps, you can get DEF, and I needed some DEF fluid for our diesel pickup truck, F-250. And Ford, unlike the other manufacturers of diesel trucks, puts the DEF container right next to the fuel container. So I filled up the fuel, filled it out, the diesel fuel. And then I opened the DEF cap, put the fuel back, and grabbed the DEF pump, forgetting to put the cap back on the diesel and not paying attention. I just put the DEF pump in the diesel fuel.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't put much in, a quart at the most. But we had immediate problems. Since then, I've learned I should have turned off the engine and not started it, or not even started it after
started that engine.
But
didn't know
that came way off later. I didn't learn that.
So if you ever do that, don't start the engine.
Yeah, don't start
Get it towed.
So we drove off. It worked fine. And then, an hour or so in, I suddenly getting this reduced engine power warning. And then I got a warning that said there's water in the fuel filter. And we had to get to Tampa for this RV show. We had hard, no deadline can be missed boundaries. So we drove all the way from north of Atlanta to Tampa, spent the week there, and then drove back from Tampa to Florida, to Destin, Florida, where we were staying for a few weeks. And I immediately took 3 weeks later, the Ford into the Ford dealer there. And they said, "Oh, that's not a problem. We can drain the fuel out of the water out of that filter, and you'll be good." And they did. And this was back in January. The lights all went away. Everything worked great. No more warning lights. We drove the fifth wheel back to Tennessee for a while, and then from Tennessee to here, and then we've used it for several trips. And then the other day, we took the truck with us over to the other side of Michigan where we were doing the Class C reviews. And coming back on Thursday, I filled up with diesel, got on the freeway to head back to southwest Michigan. And as I accelerated to pass a car, bang, reduced fuel or reduced power light came on. So I got back to Kalamazoo, where we're from, took it to the dealership there, and I'm waiting for their call now to tell me how many thousands of dollars it's going to cost to fix this thing. We know that I have some crystallization in some of my filters and some of the lines. They basically have to pull half the engine out to get at one thing with the fuel. Don't hold me to this. I'm not mechanical when it comes to vehicles, but it's a major. They've had it for 2 days and they haven't figured out whether it's worse. They got to drain the tank. There's some hope that maybe it wasn't the DEF from back in January, that maybe I had a bad batch of diesel when I filled up. It's a slim hope. And there's some hope that maybe we got it all out and it didn't do complete damage. But the price is going to be from the low thousands to 15 to 20,000. That's what the estimates are.
And that's if we can fix it.
If we can fix it. So literally, as we record this, I'm waiting for them to call me and tell me what they found out. They supposedly have been working on it all day. So the second option is, so right away, and then if they have it fixed, can they fix it in time for us to go to Canada? So that trip is in jeopardy with that. So the second option is do I just forget about that and, because 25 rigs are going to Canada based on us saying, hey, we're going to Canada, come with us. We got to go. But we can't go without an RV, and I can't tow our RV without a truck. So do I get a new truck? Decisions, and can I do this all within the next 10 days? Talk about stress. It's just insane.
Bo said he'll do his part.
Bo will do his part, yes.
He will try to pull and get some of his friends.
Bo is right behind us now, and he's thinking about it. Yeah, Bo will pull. We can get some, maybe you can borrow a couple of other people's dogs, and they can help pull the fifth wheel. So I don't know what to tell you, except we still hope to make this trip, but I have to have a truck. And I don't have it. So even if I bought a new truck, then I still have to get the fifth wheel hitch installed in that new truck. And complicating all of that is a massive hack of the computer system used by car dealerships across the country. At least 15,000 of them at this time for the last 2 weeks have had no access to their internal computer system, which they use to order parts and which they use to coordinate sales and schedule fixes and all that stuff. So they're doing everything by hand. And it's a mess. It's not just Ford. It's everybody who relies on this software. Apparently they got held up for ransomware, where hackers get it and take it down and say, if you want it back up, you got to pay us millions. And, you should never pay hackers. But so they're trying to fix that, and it's a mess.
And the other thing is, we got the 4th of July thrown in.
Oh, yeah.
With people not working. It's a holiday.
So, yeah, the dealership, they're going to be really short. And then, I don't know.
Even getting parts.
Parts.
To get shipped and things. It's.
So there you go.
Time's not on our side.
I have not publicly, well, a little bit. I want to individuals who've asked me. So I share this with you because there has to be one or two other people who are as dumb as I am that will make this mistake.
Now, don't say as dumb as you are. Say who's made that mistake.
Well, I was pretty dumb.
Well, we all make mistakes.
Look what they're telling me about on Facebook. I'm dumb. I am. I got it. I did it. No,
everybody makes mistakes.
Certainly, I wouldn't have done it intentionally. And, it's nobody's fault but mine. I wasn't paying attention, and by the time I caught it, some DEF had gotten in.
So maybe if you have diesel and you have to use the DEF, somebody should tell you.
Close your fuel before you put the DEF
and
in.
I did notice other RVs, when they don't have them right next to each other.
No, it's usually in the front.
Well, look at that. It's way over there.
Yeah. And
so.
I know this has happened to other people, but
yeah.
Here's the thing. If it happens to you,
Don't drive.
Don't drive.
Don't start it.
Now, I had no idea at the time. You shouldn't even turn your engine over because what they have to do is drain it all out, drain your whole fuel system. Don't drive. I did. I drove a lot. But we thought it was all taken care of because for 5 months it's been 5 months since that happened. And my truck has been great all in the RV. So,
But the good part is it happened here rather than we were being out of the country.
yes.
I mean, if it's going to break, I'd rather it break it in this country.
So those of you who are going with us on the trip or were planning on watching on the trip, we're hoping that we can go. But it's kind of up in the air. Can they fix my truck? Can I get a new one? What do we do? So I don't know.
Yeah, it's not just a matter of getting another truck, because then you got to get that hitch out of the one truck and into the other. And
Oh, yeah.
we got the holiday, and I said to Mike, if we get this all together, we'll see how it all works out. Maybe we are just a couple days behind everybody or try to catch up as best we can. Everything's out of our hands. We have no control over anything.
So we have shared every part of our RV lifestyle with you since we started this 13 years ago, really. And we share this with you now because if you make that mistake, don't run your truck. And if you make a mistake as equally dumb as I did, understand that there are other people like me that are equally dumb too. So you're not alone. Enough of us, but that's what's been happening in our life. And we still have a lot of videos that we have to edit to catch up. And I hope was that one time I would have a week or two to get ready for this big long trip without any hassle, to plan, to load, get everything set. That's not going to happen. It never happens. So.
And even are trying to get Bow street legal.
Oh, but these customs things, the stuff that the CDC is implementing.
Poor Bo got chipped. He got another rabies shot. It's still paperwork
And nobody
somewhere
knows
out
where
there.
the paperwork is. The vet says he's not hearing back from the government. I don't have the right papers. The CDC is acting like dictators, and this is just a mess. So
Well,
nobody knows about that either. But,
Yeah, but so is this like we're not supposed to go, or yes, we really are supposed
Yeah.
to go? We can pick whichever we want to say.
all right. So
Things
now
are
you
not
know.
nicely falling into place.
Now you know all of our woes. But you know what?
That's life.
We'll figure it out somehow or another. It'll either happen or it won't, and we'll tell you all the details too.
I just looked over there and saw the picture of the fifth wheel in Tennessee, and I love that picture.
Yes, that's this one right here.
The only thing
Yeah.
that would make it better is if our little Bo was sitting out there.
Actually, Bo is right there.
Oh, there's our Bobo.
You can't see him, but
He's in the shade.
Yeah, he's always there.
Aw,
So we hope to be with you all in Canada, but I
we're
gotta
doing
get a
our
truck.
best.
And then finding a truck, it's another problem. All right, when we come back, we're going to take a look at the social media buzz. A lot of conversations about what's going on in the RV lifestyle as everybody is in the swing of full summer camping. We'll be right back. After countless nights on the road, we have finally found the ultimate comfort solution for our home away from home. Our RV mattress from rvmattress.com/RV lifestyle. Now let me tell you, this is a game changer. Everybody knows that the stock mattresses that come in an RV are not great. And whether you are a weekend warrior or a full-timer, you deserve better sleep. RVmattress.com has 22 plus size options, 5 height options, and 3 firmness options, so you are bound to find something that fits. Jennifer and I got the signature hybrid mattress in queen with the cooling cover, and we love it. It truly has us sleeping just as good in the RV as our house. In fact, so good, we actually got another RV mattress for our sticks and bricks house. Now, swapping out the uncomfortable old stock mattress for our new RV mattress was easy. It shipped from Arizona for free in a box. We brought it into the RV and never looked back. This RV mattress is plush comfort, the best sleep we've ever had in an RV. Every night feels like a luxury retreat, and we highly recommend upgrading your mattress at rvmattress.com. Trust us, you will not regret it. And if you use the promo code RVLifestyle, you'll get a really nice discount. Again, go to rvmattress.com/RVLifestyle.
Welcome back, and now it's time for Wendy Boyer. She reports on the hot issues most talked about this past week on social media and our RV lifestyle community group.
Here's Wendy with the social media buzz.
Hi everybody. In our RV lifestyle community's troubleshooting space, we had a recent post from Lynn. And Lynn said her black tank sensors show they're full even right after she dumps. And she asked, what am I doing? How can I make it better? And so she got lots of suggestions. Richard, he uses Dawn Platinum, that dishwasher soap. He says it works great, no problems. And Robert, he does something similar. He has his own formula though. He uses 10 gallons of water, a quarter cup of Dawn. He then drives around and lets it kind of swish up in there. Dumps, says it works great. And Randall, he says he doesn't dump till his black tanks are full, but when he does, he uses a ton of water. And he also uses Happy Camper. So again, lots of suggestions in that thread. Also in our community, this time over in the boondocking space, we asked, can you share a valuable tip of something you did to make your off-grid camping experience appreciatively easier or better? And there were so many good little nuggets in here. One of them was, Edward said, you're going to pick where you're going to camp when you're boondocking, so pick a spot where you can wake up to the sunrise and have a beautiful view. Dawn, she said, make sure you get some lithium batteries. That really helped her. And Charlie, he has a 2-person dome tent that he sets up, and he puts his generator in there when he's not using it. It kind of protects it from rain and the elements. And it sounds like he has a way to lock it too. So that's a great idea for when you're not using something like that. And again, those are just a couple little tidbits in that boondocking question. And then over in our RV Lifestyle Facebook group, we had a post from Emily, and Emily wrote, help! I need help on how to keep my cupboard doors closed when going down the road. And so help is what Emily asked for, and help is what she got. There were so many suggestions. We had baby locks for the cupboards, bungee cords, those women's hair ties that you use to put ponytails. Sounds like that worked especially well for Dee. Paula, she said she uses duct tape. Now that's something that's pretty strong. Other ideas were scrunchies and Velcro straps, heavy magnets. And then there was a whole discussion about how RV campers have locks that click into place for your cupboards that do keep them closed and do work most of the time when you're on smooth roads. But when you're on those bumpy roads, that's when you might need something extra to keep it shut. And unfortunately, let's face it, a lot of America has bumpy roads. So good suggestions in that thread. And that's it for me this week. I'm Wendy Boyer, and I'll see you over on the RV Lifestyle community or Facebook group.
Well, as I listened to that, I remember our first days of RVing when the cupboard doors would fly open, and we bungee cords and plastic bags, tying them, trying to keep them shut, because you get on some of those bumpy roads, I mean, they fly. And then the perpetual black tank that doesn't read properly.
Oh.
All these things that new people need help with, and I'm so glad there's a place where they can take their questions and people will lovingly help them.
All right, we are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to have a discussion about this rash of incredibly violent, frightening thefts involving RVers. Stay with us. Jennifer and I took a trip to Las Vegas and Arizona to look at Windmill Acres, a brand new RV property being offered by Western Land and Ranches. They're selling off 1 and 2 acre parcels starting at only $14,900. Now these are big. An acre is the size of a football field. The properties are on a plateau with big valley views, and the location is amazing, next to Lake Mead National Recreation Area. We had a blast. There are so many places to explore near the property. The Grand Canyon. We took a boat ride on the Colorado River below Hoover Dam. Boulder City was a fun little town that's right off Route 66. And of course, we had to enjoy some nightlife in Las Vegas. It's a lifetime supply of fun things to do when you own a camp at Windmill Acres. The properties are now available. This is 100% ownership, so there's no reservations needed when you want to hang out, time limits or crowded parks that you have to go through. You can share your property, you can rent it, it's whatever you want to do. For more information, visit ArizonaRanchSales.com or call 822 888-232-LAND. Welcome back. Time now for the RV discussion of the week. And this week we're talking about this rash of recent violent crimes against RVers.
And last week we reported about the horrible, violent attack on a retired couple at a rest area along I-80 in Nebraska. A crazed man forced his way into their RV, brutally stabbed to death a 72-year-old man, and critically injured his 71-year-old wife before attempting to steal the Jeep they were towing with their RV.
Now, a 22-year-old suspect was caught from that, and he's now in jail. And the woman, now a widow, is slowly healing from knife wounds to her head and to her torso.
But in this past week, there have been 2 more dangerous incidents involving RVers.
Now, the most recent happened Saturday, and it was also in Nebraska, and it was also along I-80. I want to just read to you the official report from the Nebraska State Patrol. They said that the incident began at approximately 1 p.m. Saturday when the Lincoln County Sheriff's Office responded to a report of a vehicle fire on Interstate 80 near Hershey. A witness reported that the driver of the vehicle that was on fire was running away from the scene towards the Interstate Lakes area. That man was then seen breaking into and stealing a pickup with a camper attached. He ran over the owner of that pickup as he fled in the stolen vehicle. The owner of the pickup sustained serious injuries. Lincoln County deputies began a pursuit of this suspect as he fled eastbound on I-80. And as that vehicle passed the North Platte interchanges, troopers took over the pursuit from the Nebraska State Patrol. And as the suspect fled eastbound, he crossed the median and began driving at a high rate of speed in the westbound lanes of I-80. Additional police units worked to slow westbound traffic to avoid any collisions, and the suspect nearly struck a westbound trooper, continued driving against traffic for several miles before exiting at the Brady interchange, mile marker 199. About 1:25, he parked the vehicle in a parking lot, and then he took off on foot into a wooded area. Troopers and deputies arrived on the scene immediately, established a perimeter. The SWAT team was activated. The North Platte Police Department, the Dawson County Sheriff's Department also responded to assist. They put up drones in the air used to search the area. They had aviation support. And then once troopers believed that they had an approximate location on the suspect, the SWAT team began a closer search. They used a light armored vehicle. They had a canine that tracked the suspect to a muddy area on the bank of a pond. And the canine was used to take him into custody at 7:25. So they identified this guy as Abraham Pacheco, 32, of Thornton, Colorado. He's now in the Lincoln County Jail, held on numerous charges, and the investigation remains ongoing. The thief ran over the owner of that pickup truck intentionally as he was stealing it, and the owner's hospitalized with serious injuries. He's expected to recover.
Now, that was Saturday. A few days before in Boulder, Colorado, there was another incident. A man, woman, and their dog were spending the night in their friend's truck camper parked outside the friend's apartment. And around 3 a.m., they woke up confused and startled when they realized their camper was moving. They realized that while they slept, someone had broken into the truck the camper was attached to, taking them and their dog along for the ride. Can you imagine? They awakened and realized someone had stolen their truck and they were driving down the road. They called the police. The initial call was tearful and confused, Boulder police reported. This went on for some time until police, with the couple still on their phone, spotted the truck and officers tried to pull it over with the couple inside. However, after the officers turned on the siren, police said the truck driver sped up. Police chased the driver until the vehicle reached a dead-end street and had no choice but to stop. and officers ordered the driver to exit the vehicle and told the couple it was safe to go outside. The pair and their dog safely exited the vehicle after this intense incident. Police body camera footage shared by the department shows the moment the victims were rescued. All right, are you guys okay? An officer said. Yes, we are, one of the victims replied. And we're incredibly thankful no one was injured in this terrifying situation. And they very much could have been, the department said. The suspect was arrested and booked on several charges, including second-degree motor vehicle theft, 2 counts of reckless endangerment, vehicular eluding, and carrying a concealed knife, according to the department. He had previously been arrested for 3 other motor vehicle thefts and convicted for 1 of them. He was also charged with failure to appear for court on a previous theft case, and the department said, that's a scary story. Fortunately, it had a happy ending with no one getting hurt.
But what on earth is going on? 3 dangerous RV thefts in just a little over a week's time. And these 3 incidents are all different and they're unconnected, but we've been hearing more and more in recent months about RVs around the country being stolen. And I think it was a few years ago, but remember there was a tired RV couple boondocking along the beach near Corpus Christi, Texas, and they were murdered. Their killer buried them in the sand and took their RV, and it was going to take it to Mexico where police thought he was going to sell it. They caught him at the border trying to drive the stolen RV into Mexico. In these more recent incidents, 2 of these happened along busy interstates, I-80 to be precise, which is one of the main east-west routes that RVers take as they go to the national parks. And the other happened on a city street in Colorado. So what can be done to prevent these things?
Without all the information, it's hard to make generalizations, and there is no central database to check for stolen RVs, but situational awareness is the most important thing. Be sure to lock the doors, always, and as the couple in the Boulder can attest, keep a cell phone on your person or nearby all the time.
Now, I know a lot of us overnight at freeway rest areas, and we want to park along the edges where there's not so much light so that we can get a good night's sleep. Well, maybe that isn't the best idea these days. Statistically, we'd venture to say that campgrounds are probably the safest place to camp to avoid theft. Many of them have all-night security. Many of them have gates that close. You're right next to your neighbors. There's witnesses. I don't really think we should get into discussing whether you should be carrying a firearm for safety. Look, that's your decision. It's very controversial, as you know. You decide on your own. But I will say this. RVs are just stuff. Stuff can be replaced. Insurance replaces stuff. That's why you have insurance. Lives can't be replaced. But there are precautions.
Travel trailers are the most stolen of the RVs. All you need is a hitch with a ball receiver to hook it up and pull it away. Motorhomes are the next most stolen because, like cars, a thief just needs to start the engine. Same with truck campers. And fifth wheels are more tricky because they need a specialized hitch for the kingpin.
So knowing that, put a lock on the hitch if you have a travel trailer and a fifth wheel. Get a burglar alarm for your motorhome and your truck campers, and stay alert. Now, while we're hearing more and more about RV thefts, sensational stories like those 3 of the past week or so make us think that the problem is more common than it really is. We've been doing the RV lifestyle for 12 years now, and we've had 2 thefts.
One's at a restaurant off Route 66 in Illinois. It happened in broad daylight while we were eating and our dog was in the locked RV. Police suspect the thieves used an electronic device of some sort to somehow open the locks. They stole computers and cameras and whatever they could grab, but insurance covered it. And then once in our driveway, someone got in our RV and took the television. Truthfully, I think we had forgotten to lock the door on the RV. It was in our driveway by our home.
In the first instance, there wasn't a thing we could have done differently to prevent theft while we were eating dinner. We even had a camera, a dash cam, and you could see one of the thieves. There were two of them that came in. We had a microphone. They actually moved the camera, but it kept recording sound, and we could hear them as they were ransacking. It took them all of about 3 minutes to do it. In the second incident, it wouldn't have happened if we'd not been careless and left the RV unlocked. So the bottom line is, you can't escape crime.
It happens. Not as often as some would have us think, but enough to make us think and make us take precautions.
So what do you guys think? Send us a note, Mike and Jen at rvlifestyle.com, or use the comments below. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we have the RV news of the week, so stay with us. Jennifer and I bought some land near Nashville, Tennessee a while back. We got tired of crowded, expensive campgrounds and worrying about reservations. Tennessee is a gorgeous state with friendly people, and it has been such a pleasure. The same developer has some new property near us close to the Natchez Trace and Buffalo River called The Reserve at High Forest. Big properties, 5 to 41 acres. You can build a house, a cabin, or RV year-round. Prices start at only $89,900. Your property, your way, 100% ownership. The scenery in this part of Tennessee is breathtaking, and the property is gorgeous. Garden, landscape, bring your pets, build what you want. There's high-speed fiber optic internet, and it is so private. A great place to make your home base, ready whenever you want it. 5 to 41 acre properties from $89,900. There's even great financing. Check out the site and a video tour at rvlands.net. That's rvlands.net. Welcome back, everybody. Time now for the RV news of the week.
AAA expects a record number of Americans to be traveling for their July 4th celebration, the majority by road. About 70.9 million are traveling this weekend, up from 5.7 million in 2019 when the last record was set. And 85.4% of those travelers are doing road trips. And Mike and I have been camping for much of the past month, so we decided to stay home this weekend. But if you're out there, we hope you're enjoying yourself. When it's time to come home, AAA recommends you do all you can to avoid being on the road between 10:30 a.m. and 2:30 p.m. Saturday, 2 to 8 p.m. on Sunday, or 1 to 5 p.m. Monday, when all those record travelers are returning home.
All right, drive careful out there. That's why we everything's been booked up anyway. That's why we don't camp on the big holidays, but we get to camp all year round. So we save that as openings for other people who can. Mm-hmm. All right, this is a big story. If you are one of the millions of people who have enjoyed a drone, listen up. If you have, in particular, a DJI drone, which I think is 70% of all the drones sold in North America are from DJI. Your drone may be taking your photographs, pictures, even facial recognition data to the Chinese government. And because of that, it may soon be banned by the U.S. government. So this is all a political thing. It's some legislation that they call Countering CCP Drones. That's the Countering CCP Drones Act. Passed the U.S. House last month. And then it passed through the Senate Armed Services Committee, and now it's set to be debated in the U.S. Senate soon. Because DJI, the company that makes these popular drones, is a Chinese-owned company, it has to comply with demands from the Chinese government, which has triggered lawmakers to take action. The U.S. government is worried that these DJI drones could collect critical infrastructure and law enforcement data and GPS locations and photographs, facial recognition, and then share it with the Chinese government for espionage purposes. Now, nobody's ever found evidence that that's what they do, but that's what they're worried about. So DJI drones, extremely popular. I have one. They're known for their quality. They're, I think, the best, most affordable drone on the market. Like I said, 70% of the U.S. drone market is in DJI drones. Many RVers bring drones with them on their RV adventures. Drone flying has become a big hobby, but DJI drones are also used by non-hobbyists. They use them in police work. Police departments have them. Search and rescues, agricultural spraying. You heard on that earlier on when we were talking about that RV theft, that they actually use that drones to help find the suspect in one of them. DJI, which has offices in the U.S., is obviously fighting this bill because they make a lot of money selling those drones here. But there's a very real chance it could pass. So if you're thinking of purchasing a DJI drone soon, you may want to wait and see how this all shakes up. We'll be sure to let you know. And for those of you who already have one, I'm not sure how that's going to play out, but let's watch and see what happens when that proposed act hits the Senate for debate. One more story.
All right. And the story is, we know the selfie culture has penetrated seemingly every aspect of American society. But we were still surprised when we saw that select Ohio state parks have opened designated selfie stations. Now, these stations are designed to show people where to stand to take a selfie. They include a shelf where you can put your phone and set a timer, and they're located in 15 state parks and 3 preserves. These stations are set against some of the park's most awesome landscapes. You know, they give you the background of rolling hills and dense forests or tranquil lakes and cascading waterfalls. And to kick off the selfie stations, the Ohio Department of Natural Resources has launched a contest. The first 50 people to email pictures of themselves at 10 or more selfie stations have a chance to win an Ohio State Parks passport. And I don't know, call me old-fashioned, but do we really need to be told where to stand to snap a picture of a beautiful landscape? I bet you a lot of people probably might need that help. So,
Can't
you
we
know,
tell
I'm
what
sure,
is? Can't we tell what's stunning ourselves? I mean, you think?
well, it could be a good idea. It could save you some time. You know, this is a good spot right here. This is the highlight. You don't have to keep wandering and wandering. Do the ones where they have got it all set up for you, because this is like one of the best spots. So, having this shelf for your phone is helpful. And I could also see traffic backups to stand at these designated spots. And if any of you have seen these selfie stations, we would love to know what you think. And for a list of the selfie stations,
We'll put a link in the show notes below.
all right, sounds
you
like
go.
a good plan. It's kind of fun,
I don't know. Hey, this is pretty. Take a picture. Okay, I didn't know that was pretty. But hey, anything, okay. Some people may need it. We probably could all use it too. We have better photos. All right, when we come back, we've got the RV questions of the week, and then we're going to tell you Mike and Jen's story time of the week. So stay with us.
When we're asked what's the most important modification we made to our RV, it's an easy answer. Battle-born batteries. Battle-born batteries are quality, safe, reliable lithium batteries that allow us to stay out there off the grid longer. Lithium batteries charge faster, they charge fuller, they're longer lasting, they're maintenance free, and battle-born batteries are protected by a 10-year guarantee. Now, in our case, they just dropped into the existing AGM batteries that we have, and they'll probably be the same on your rig too. Battle-born battery experts can get those in your rig just like they did with ours. They can also match you up with the right cabling, the inverter, the charger, the solar controller, everything. Jennifer and I swear by our battle-born batteries. They allow us to boondock off the grid. Check them out. Go to rvlifestyle.com/lithium. rvlifestyle.com/lithium.
Welcome back. Time now for the RV question of the week.
here we go. The toilet bowl in our RV no longer holds water. It's made by Dometic. Does it need to be replaced? And this was from Brian.
Brian, not the toilet, just probably the rubber seal at the bottom of the tank that controls the water flow into the bowl. It's called technically the flush bowl seal. And it's funny we got your question because I just this past week had to replace mine on our Montana fifth wheel. And it was very simple. I ordered a new one from Amazon for around $20. I'll put a link to it in the show notes below. But you can search for whatever manufacturer toilet you have if you have that same problem, and see if you can find the flush bowl seal, whether it's Dometic or if it's another brand. Well, what happens is that gunk, you can imagine, debris, gets between that seal and the round little stopper that opens when you flush the toilet, when you push the flush mechanism. So to fix it, all you need is some latex gloves. And with the water off, you kind of push down the flush lever so that that little white thing underneath it moves aside. And then reach into the bowl, and you carefully can lift up that rubber seal and pull it out. Be sure not to let it slip and fall into your black tank. Clean off that little white ball or stopper underneath the seal. Take a paper towel and just work all the way around the rim. And then on the new seal, put a little silicone grease. You can even use Vaseline if you want on the bottom of the new rubber seal. And then you just push it down into the bowl, twist it in place. You might have to move it around a little bit with the stopper closed. And you want to hear it just, seat tightly against that stopper so there's no gaps. Run your finger around the edge, make sure it's tight with that stopper. Then go back and turn on the water. And make sure it's properly sealed. You'll be able to tell. Just give a little water in the bowl, and if it stays there, you fixed it. I'm feeling pretty proud because I did that. Even I could do that. So if I can do it, anybody can. But you also get easy to understand instructions that come with the new seal. So that will solve that problem for you.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a question you'd like us to answer on the podcast, just send it to us at mikeandjen@rvlifestyle.com. You know what time it is now.
Story time.
Mike and Jen's story time. And this week we're going to tell you about the curse of Michigan's Upper Peninsula. The curse. They are...
The black flies.
Ooh. Now, if you're in Michigan's Upper Peninsula right about now, early July as we're recording this episode, you have the welts to prove it, I bet. This is prime bug season up there. First of all, blood-sucking mosquitoes, they're bad enough, but it's the black flies that make the mosquito misery even worse. Black flies bite and rip off literal chunks of your flesh. Now, we should tell them that there's two kinds of flies here we're talking about. I can't tell them apart, but there are two different kinds, right?
There are. There are the black flies and the stable flies. And they kind of look the same, but not, there are differences. The stable flies eat you. The locals say they come when a south wind blows them out of the woods to the Lake Superior shoreline.
They literally poke your skin and pull out pieces of flesh, tiny pieces, but they eat you.
Well, I had to read about them a little bit because I started thinking black flies, stable flies. And they can go through fabric. So they are tough little guys.
Yeah.
And they like the lower part of your legs. That's what they prefer biting.
Now, we have done a number of videos on them, and you'll find that if there's a strong onshore wind, in other words, the wind is blowing off of Lake Superior, there won't be quite so many. But if there's a south wind, that's when they come out of the forest and along the Lake Michigan or the Lake Superior shoreline. And that's usually early June to the end of July. And they will cover you. I mean, we've done a couple. One time over on the western end of the UP on Lake Superior at Porcupine Mountains, I had a pair of, hiking shorts. And there must have been 150 of those flies on one of my legs.
And the stable flies are around for 20 to 30 days. Both the male and the female eat blood. They need the blood to live. Like mosquitoes, it's just the females who take your blood. But a female lays 200 to 400 little eggs. So
yeah,
could be a lot of them out
well,
there.
They will cover you. Now, for those of you who watch the YouTube version of the podcast, you can watch along. For those of you doing the audio version of the podcast, you'll be able to pick this up from a video we did a number of years ago And we called it the black fly dance because it shows how Upers, that's what they call those up in the UP, people who live up there, they're always jumping up and down and they're swatting the air. And whenever they're outside, their secret is to keep moving. So here's an excerpt from that video.
Michigan's Upper Peninsula, the UP, is a place of spectacular beauty. Lakes, streams, waterfalls, and the Lake Superior shoreline. Simply awesome.
This is the curse of the UP black flies. Hate these things. You stay long and they're all over you. Now I'm sacrificing my pain. Ow! Get out of here, you guys. Get out of here. Oh my gosh. Look. Can you see this? This is what these things do. Oh my gosh. And they all are biting. Okay, it may be beautiful country, but it's so miserable because of these flies.
When the flies are biting, this is what you see. UP locals, they call themselves Upers, call it the black fly dance.
Curse of the North.
Actually, there are two kinds of flies, black flies and stable flies.
They're terrible. When they come in swarms out of the woods usually. It depends on the direction of the wind. When it comes from the south, it brings them up out of the woods. And they will cover a car. You'll see people walking and the back of them will just be covered with these black flies that bite.
We've been here a million times and never had them, but today they're definitely getting your ankles.
You're pretty well covered with them yourself.
The black flies are like deer flies. They bite hard and they draw blood. The stable flies bite and go away.
Stable flies they look like harmless house flies, but they are more insidious because they really sting hard.
But the flies don't bite all the time, and they are a small price to pay for some of the most beautiful wilderness that you'll find anywhere.
The black fly dance. Do you remember that time that we bought one of every kind of bug and fly repellent that we could find to see what worked the best?
Electronic gizmos that emitted sound waves and force fields and sprays and lotions and fly strips coated with sticky substances to catch them, and none of them worked.
None of them worked. The only thing that worked is I got covered with them, with flies. You didn't, but that's because you stayed in the RV. You didn't go outside.
Yeah, I thought I'm not going to go out there and be a human sacrifice.
I mean, there are a lot of them. Now, we love the UP. It's our favorite place, but we do now try to stay away in early summer. And we mentioned, I think it was on our Ask Us Anything, the mosquitoes can also be a problem. Unreal how many mosquitoes there are up there in those woods. We camped one night in the Hiawatha National Forest, and it's a huge stretch of wilderness. We had a gorgeous campsite.
It was nice.
Except
the mosquitoes. They were getting in. You know, there's
how they got
tiny.
in. Everything was closed up.
Yeah.
The windows were shut. We had screens on the windows, but how they got in, they got in.
I don't know, but they drove us out.
Literally drove us out at about midnight, and we found a cheap hotel in some little tiny town up there in the UP, and it's the only time we have been chased out of the woods by wildlife, and the wildlife was Michigan's Upper Peninsula mosquitoes. And then when you head over to the shores of Lake Superior, it's the biting black flies and stable flies.
Now, when I was reading about stable flies, I read that they don't like the smell of mint and lavender and basil.
Okay.
So, for what that's worth.
Well, there you go. But they sure do like to eat.
They do.
All right, that's
Like
our
to eat.
story time for
Your
this
blood.
week. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching this podcast. Wish us luck on fixing our truck. Hopefully we'll have some updates, and we'll share some of them in our RV lifestyle community, and you can find out what we're up to, or we'll certainly tell you back next week. Meantime, you be careful out there. Enjoy the 4th of July and have a great summer wherever you happen to be.
Happy trails.